Hello YouTubers, my name is Buchan and this is Buchan, and we're on our Euro trip journey. We have just finished up the French National Championships here in Vichy. I do recommend checking out the previous episodes where we go through the French National Championships, taking a little bit of a turn towards the end. But in this episode, you probably know what's going to happen by reading the title, but we're moving from Vichy here in France up north, so a little bit of a hint to where we're going on the next part of the Euro trip journey. I was hoping on a little bit of a more relaxed drive up north, but looking at the forecast, and even now there's thunder rolling in, it's starting to rain a little bit. It looks like the journey is going to be a hard focused one, but I've given myself a couple of days to do the drive, which could be done within a day. So hopefully we'll be relaxing enough by the time I get to the location I'm ready to go again. So join me on my journey back up north Yamsquad to see what happens next. Oh yeah! And we're on the road again. Don't know the rest of the words to the song, but we're in the ambulance, we're on the way north to our next destination on the Euro trip journey. And it looks like, for now, fingers crossed, the weather is holding off. We've got some lovely sunny, blue, cloudy skies. It is absolutely roasting. Little bit of tiny bits of rain here and there. I'm anticipating a bit stormy weather later, but we will see. For now, driving through the countryside of France to test out a theory that because I'm not doing 130 kilometers an hour in the ambulance, which is the speed limit, or 80 miles an hour, which is the speed limit of a toll road, I'm taking non-toll roads all the way to the next destination to see if it will be about the same time as driving on toll roads, because one, I get to avoid the tolls and avoid paying a lot of money, and two, if I'm going roughly the same speed anyway on the non-toll roads as I would be on the toll roads, then I might as well go on the non-toll roads, because most of the time, not always, the non-toll roads are actually the shorter distance. They're just usually slower because you can't go as fast as you can on the toll roads. So that's my thinking right now. It gives me a little bit of variation, because remember, variation is one of the keys to motivation. Driving through towns, not even the cities, towns, villages through France, through the countryside, rather than just sitting looking at the same, obviously very well maintained roads through France, but just not as beautiful as the countryside through France. So I'll let you know how we get on with the journey. Hopefully you enjoy the scenery with me, and I'll let you know how the test goes. Toll roads versus not toll roads. Made it to the stop for this evening. Pleasurable drive through the countryside of France, and also adding in some motorway driving, but again without the tolls, and results of the non-toll road driving so far, a little bit more fuel economical, so that's absolutely fantastic, and it's a lot less demoralizing when watching the sat-nav time go up and up, or the projected estimated arrival go up and up and up, because you're not going anywhere near the estimated speed that it thinks you might go on the faster roads. So that's good too. Still going slower than the overall 110 speed limit in the ambulance. Big heavy vehicle, no point in going too fast, and I've got plenty of time to get to the next location. So big heavy vehicle. But now So I think for my situation, the non-toll road driving is working out so far, and of course I don't have to pay the tolls because I'm not using the tolls. So now, relaxing, fueling up, because remember food is fuel, and then not tomorrow, but the next day we will be getting to the next location, and tomorrow will just be a little bit of exploring, hopefully in Paris, and a little bit of driving so I can get to somewhere that I need to get to the next location. Oh, yeah. And we've made it to the second travel day of this part of the Eurotrip journey. Heading out a little bit of a walk this morning in the beautiful place that we parked the Yambulance last night, and then heading more north. Hopefully I'm going to get into Paris, but there's quite a large low emission zone that I want to avoid because the ambulance isn't great on the old emissions. So a little bit of an adventure to get to Paris. So let's get to it. Stopping off for some fuel, because remember, fuel is fuel. And Yam and I have made it into the outskirts of Paris, avoiding the low emission zone. Isn't that right, Yabby? We're going to try and get on the metro. You're allowed to get on the train with dogs, but only one way to find out in reality. So let's have a little bit of an adventure, hopefully, for the afternoon in Paris. And as you can probably tell, Yam and I are at the Eiffel Tower here in the centre, or close to the centre of Paris. As well as visiting the Eiffel Tower, Yam asked to see the Arc de Triomphe as well, so we stopped off there quickly now to get some food and head back to the ambulance to start the rest of our trip up north to our next location. Isn't that right, Yam? And we've made it back to the ambulance. Time to hit the road. And Yam and I have made it to where we will be spending this evening before we head to England tomorrow morning via the Channel Tunnel once again. So tonight, I'm going to rest up, relax after a lovely day outside in Paris, being a little bit of a tourist with Yam, and also a lovely drive through the countryside of France. So we're going to fuel up, because remember, food is fuel, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next part of the Eurotrip journey. Oh yeah! Made it back onto the road this morning. Peaceful night's sleep, but it turns out a lot of the vans that I thought would be leaving around the same time as me, or even before me, they're staying. So maybe they have a later departure, or they're not leaving at all. for Yam and I this morning, heading to the tunnel departure area, but we also have to make sure that Yam's forms and everything are all ready to go, so we have to go to the pet passport checking area, and then we head on to the actual train itself. So let's go to the terminal and get Yam's forms checked out. Oh yeah. And that's all we really needed to check Yam. This little badge. They check the health certificate that Yam has, make sure everything's okay. And now it's time for me to get across passport control and then onto the train. Oh yeah. And now we've made it through passport control. Funny because the French side passport control was on this side, but the British passport control was on that side. So this was the last time, at least for a while, that I'll be trying to clamber over and go through this window. Hopefully be using this window until I come out of Britain again. And I also have to remember that once I get out of the train, driving on the different side of the road.
First you will park.
And we have made it into the Channel Tunnel. No, we've not. We've made it into the Channel Tunnel train once more, and I find it really exciting. Something I've not done very often, but I find it amazing. The technology, the experience. But about 20 minutes before we leave, and a little bit longer, and then the actual journey around 30 minutes. So Yam and I just going to relax and then see you in England. Okay, so we're back on British roads. We're on the motorway, driving on the left side of the road. Feels a little bit strange, but makes it a lot easier when you've got a lot of other cars around going the right way. And now, first stop on this part of the Euro trip is Hudson Boat Works, the makers of the Yambhorghini, name yet to be determined, on the roof of the ambulance. And if you haven't seen the previous video, you might not know why I'm going to Hudson today, but in the previous video there was a massive hailstorm and damaged loads of boats, including the Yambhorghini, name yet to be determined. So if you haven't seen it, go back to, should be the last video, to see what happened. But today we're going to take it to Hudson, get it checked out, and see what needs to be done to get the Yambhorghini, name yet to be determined, back on the water. So it's about a couple of hours to get there, nice and chilled out, nice and relaxed, and then I'll see you there. And the ambulance, myself, Yam, and the Yambhorghini, name yet to be determined, have made it to Hudson, just outside of Reading, and we're going to see how much work the Yambhorghini, name yet to be determined, needs to get back on the water. Fingers crossed, Yamsquad. Just...
This is also...
yeah, all of that is...
Like, this is just this like a massive weight.
Oh wow!
I thought it was bad up there.
Oh, I didn't press it. Yeah, that's... I just went like this. So I think the unfortunate diagnosis for the Yambhorghini, name yet to be determined, is a write-off would be the words to use. So not ideal. Fingers crossing did not work. And now, as always, we deal with the cards we're dealt, and we'll see what happens next. So the shoes and the seat of the Yambhorghini name yet to be determined are being transferred to another boat that I will be borrowing for the next part of the Eurotrip journey. But it will be sad to see the Yambhorghini name yet to be determined move on. Windscreens, rear windows, side windows on all the cars. Which is crazy. So that is the name yet to be determined on the roof of the ambulance to replace the Yambhorghini name yet to be determined, unfortunately, because that is, we're going to have a damage assessment to see how that boat goes, but for all intents and purposes, those words, it's a write-off, unfortunately. So I'll be rowing in this boat for the next stage of the Eurotrip journey. I'm just going to film the Yambhorghini name yet to be determined because this might in fact be the last time we see it on the channel. A sad, sad day, and not what I expected, because I'm not a boat expert, so I looked at the damage and thought, that's repairable. Turns out I wasn't looking at it right, and it's not repairable at all. So an F in the chat below, an F in the comments, paying your respects to the Yambhorghini name yet to be determined for all of its service. Unfortunately, we are saying goodbye, and that will be the end of today's episode, apart from this little bit of a montage after, because I'm just going to bring my thoughts together and see what we're doing next after losing a dear friend. But we're moving on to the next stage of the Eurotrip journey, which includes the name yet to be determined on the roof of the ambulance, and it will be in a location very close to this. And I know at the start of the episode I think I was saying, oh, you'll know by the title of the video where we'll be going, but I didn't anticipate this happening to the Yambhorghini name yet to be determined, so the title has probably changed from what I thought it was going to be. And then the next video will be the title that I anticipated it being. So if you are not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed so you're notified for the next episode coming out. And as always, hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, or hit the like button to pay respects to the Yambhorghini name yet to be determined. Enjoy this little bit of a montage of the Yambhorghini name yet to be determined, the last goodbye, and I will see you in the next episode.